Go ahead, John. Anytime.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a drum roll, dick.
I did. You didn't hear it?
No.
You guys didn't hear the drum roll, really?
No.
Oh, I definitely played it.
Oh, I like this intro. Welcome to the Ginyu Farce podcast. My name is John. I'm here with Connor and Alex. Welcome
Hey,
back.
guys. Good to be back.
All right. Well, failed drum roll aside, we are back in it. Let's go over what we covered last time really quick, which was the Commander Red Saga that aired in July of 87 in Japan and November of 2002 in the United States. And in that saga, Goku finally gets his grandfather's Dragon Ball back. We see Mercenary Tao come in after Commander Red calls him, who kills Bora, who is the Native American man living under Korin's tower. Goku is also beaten by Mercenary Tao, and then he climbs up Korin's tower, drinks the sacred water, meets Korin, defeats Mercenary Tao, and seemingly kills him. Goku then heads off to Red Ribbon headquarters, where Staff Officer Black kills Commander Red, and then Goku kills Staff Officer Black. And with that, the Red Ribbon Army is defeated, with all their commanders and officers almost all dead. So, that recap being said, the year is 750. Goku is now 13 years old, going into the 69th episode. Nice. So, in this one we finally get to hear about Fortuneteller Baba, and Goku and his friends head over to the palace, where Fortuneteller and Baba explains that Goku and his friends have to take part in a competition or pay her 10 million zeni to have them have their fortune read.
Right. Pretty steep price on the fortune.
Is that the highest amount of money we've seen so far? No.
No, I think Mercenary Tao charges a lot. I think his was like 5 billion or something. Yeah, it was kind of a fun setup. Like, I could tell it was going to be like a lighter sort of arc, more fun. Like, it reminded me of like Emperor Pilaf Saga. Like, it's like just the gang is out on an adventure. They like stop in this old west town because Goku needs a shirt, and he just drops his pants in the middle of the road. And I like when the characters get mad. When they get really mad, like their teeth become like fangs. Like their teeth all get sharp and they start yelling. And I liked that. They did that to him.
I just want to prep. I mean, I guess if you're watching this or listening to this before you watch it, there's a lot of Goku's dick in this season.
There is, yeah.
Like an ample amount. Well, some would say unnecessary.
Yeah, more than most people would probably want.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. What did you think of this one, Connor? What did you think about the setup?
It was a lot of fun. You know, the gang just kind of like went off on their own new trip. Bulma and Oolong were staying behind. And I was kind of surprised that Yamcha was going to play such a major role in this arc. I didn't really know how big of a role he would have in the series. I know that he is, in the main supporting cast later on. But it was, it's interesting to see the characters grow and into what they become. Yamcha was in a hurry to get out of that town. He was just like, we need to get going. And I had no idea why. And they finally arrive at the Fortune-teller Baba's house. And Krillin is getting ready to fight. And he's just talking shit. And anytime we see people talking shit in this series,
yeah, we know what's going to happen, right?
Get their ass brutally handed to.
Yeah. Here's my question. Where did Krillin get the balls? Because last I saw him, he was getting his ass kicked by Commander Blue.
Yeah, I don't know. He must have felt...
looking real cocky.
His confidence went up from that whole ordeal, I think, with General Blue, probably. And, I mean, he knows he's got Goku in his corner, right? So that helps a little bit.
That is true.
That's a little bit of a perk. I thought it was interesting that Puar and Upa were, part of the crew. Goku went and got Upa. And I was kind of wondering why. Because he's, seems just kind of like he would just be a liability, right? Because he's, just this tiny little weak kid. But for whatever reason, they all go out there, including Puar and Yamcha.
It's solely for the line, new things are scary, like leaving home for the first time, or broccoli. That's what Goku tells Upa when they're leaving on the Nimbus cloud.
Goku becomes like a cool, like older brother to Upa kind of during this arc, which I like. But it's sort of a setup, right? A lot of setup. I'm not sure if all that stuff that happens in that saloon town is like canon or filler or what, but it was kind of fun. And it seems like we're set up for a fun adventure, right? It's not as, the tone isn't as serious as Commander Red Saga.
It's a new tournament.
Right. But I guess, yeah, we kind of find that out at the very end. We meet Fortuneteller Baba, and she's the woman from the vision that Goku had when he looked in that water before. That's right. He saw the woman on the crystal ball, and that's her. So, Connor, you want to do the next one?
Yeah. So, next one, we are the 5 fighters, or 5 warriors. We are the 5 warriors. Krillin fights Fangs the vampire and is defeated. Upa and Puar work in unison to defeat Fangs the vampire, and Yamcha goes up against the see-through the Invisible Man. So, new characters this episode, Fangs the vampire and See-Through the Invisible Man. It's weird. You're really getting into the supernatural here.
Yeah, you're like, all right, they're gonna fight 5 people. That's cool, but then like they're not normal like fighters, right? They're all like supernatural beings.
Yeah, they defeat Fangs the vampire by Upa chasing him with garlic breath, and the vampire getting so repulsed that he's like, "All right, I'm out."
Oh, go ahead, John.
Oh well, here a couple things bothered me about this because the vampire makes a comment about like hoping that like he turns into pizza or something, or hoping he tastes like pizza. And I'm like, pizza has garlic in it.
Yeah, that was weird.
And then the next thing he does is breathe garlic on him, and then Puar turns into a giant hand and slaps him down. And it was just it was very silly. It was very silly and right.
Yeah, whoever wrote that line has doesn't have a lot of experience cooking, because pizza definitely has garlic in it. Garlic makes things taste good, so why wouldn't it be there?
And then Krillin is like, "Oh, you gotta," when Yamcha's fighting the Invisible Man, because Krillin gets all the blood sucked out of his head. Krillin is tapped out after fighting Fangs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it's fair to say there's a decent amount of blood that they show in this sequence too. Like, Krillin is squirting blood from multiple...
He is, he's like a leaky faucet.
And then they make him mad, and then give, that classic cartoon comedy where he starts squirting more. Yeah,
when he gets mad, his blood pressure goes up, so like the blood is shooting farther.
Goku tells him it almost looks like hair.
Yeah. I really liked a couple of things after Krillin is defeated. He just they just like bring an IV pole to him, and he just like gets a blood transfusion, which is pretty funny because working in medical field, you 100% need consent to get blood. If you just give someone blood, you're in big trouble. So they're definitely violating some.
Also, how'd they know what blood type he was?
Well, maybe they just used O negative, right? Universal donor. Who knows? And then when Puar and Upa fight him, I was like, really? Like, what is this about to be? And like we talked about, is it Upa that does the garlic breath?
Yeah.
He just happens to have garlic. I was like, where did this garlic come from? And then Puar turns into a porcupine, so he goes to bite him, and he just gets needles in his mouth. And then right when he's defeated, Upa stands and puts his arms up like a cross. And then the words "Jesus Christ" go across the screen in huge.
And then God Almighty too.
It says Jesus Christ with an exclamation point.
And then God Almighty afterwards. Oh,
I thought that was weird. It was so funny, and it was so unexpected.
Toriyama hits one out of left field.
Yeah, I really liked it. And then Yamcha is gonna go against the Invisible Man, and he's like super cocky about it, right? Like he tends to be always, and he is getting his ass kicked, as happens, right? As we talked about. And then Krillin's like, we need Bulma and Master Roshi here. And I didn't know where they were going with this, so Goku takes off, and that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, this is one of the worst things.
It's really fucking weird. It's really weird.
They did.
They do it in the next episode, 71, which is when Yamcha ends up defeating him, and then they move inside, right? Because Baba wants to move the fight inside of her palace.
Fight is always held indoors. The first two are
so they move inside.
That is you're skipping over the important part here.
Oh yeah, we'll get there for sure. Goku finds Bulma and Master Roshi, and I think Oolong and Launch, they're all in a plane, and he's trying to talk to them from his cloud, and they can't hear him. So he's like, "There's no time," and he just breaks into the plane during flight and just grabs them out of the plane and
keep in
heads
mind,
back.
Bulma's flying the plane.
Yes, right. Bulma is flying the plane, and then Yamcha and Oolong are just stuck in this plane that has a broken window, and no one's flying it.
And also launches in her nice form, so they have to do a last minute sneeze so she can turn to Launch, take over the wheel, and then they cut. You don't know what happens to Oolong and Launch.
Yeah. So who wants to discuss why Master Roshi and Bulma were recruited for this?
I'll do it. So, Bulma and Master Roshi get back. Bulma's pissed. And we see Yamcha getting his ass kicked by the Invisible Man, which has gone through a couple stages at this point. Yamcha was losing, then he's like, I'll listen to where he's at. And then he starts winning, and then because of that, Baba starts singing so he can't hear her anymore, so he's getting his ass beat by the time Master Roshi and Bulma show up.
She's a terrible singer, by the way.
Yeah, she's a very bad singer.
Terrible.
Bulma, I think it's important to keep in mind this is the first time she's seen Yamcha, I think, since they've, left. Yeah, she still hasn't been home yet. And so she says something along the lines of, you brought me out here to watch Yamcha dance? Krillin arranges them, so Bulma's facing the stage, so Master Roshi's facing the stage, and then proceeds to come up behind Bulma and pull her shirt down and flash Master Roshi, giving Master Roshi an insane nosebleed. 100% covering the Invisible Man in blood, and then Yamcha kicks his ass
because he can see him. Yeah, that was not expected. It was they turned a gag into an actual it actually made it affected the plot. It was a gag that actually turned the tables for Yamcha, and all of the assault aside, Bulma was like Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl. But I remember seeing this episode on Toonami as a kid, and it stuck with me because of how stupid it was. So in the edited version, obviously they can't do any of that. So what they end up doing is Master Roshi, when he shows up, he ends up having a can of tomato soup in his shirt. And he opens the tomato soup and throws it on the Invisible Man. And that's how Yamcha sees him. And I remember watching that as a kid and being like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. How is that
better?
How
I think that's funnier.
Well, I was like, how is that part of this show? This isn't Dragon Ball.
Why? I mean, it would go with the garlic theme.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I was just like, that's no way to win. That's no way to win a fight. And it stuck with me, even as an adult. I was wondering
the unnecessary horny material that we need from Toriyama.
And as we started the episode, I was like, oh god, this is going to be the tomato soup thing, isn't it? And it actually ended up being much worse.
And then you were like, that's no way to win a fight.
Oh, so you went in expecting the tomato soup.
I was expecting tomato soup, yes.
Okay.
And instead,
make it a little bit funny.
I got blood.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But we also find out something important, and that is that Fortuneteller Baba and Master Roshi are siblings.
Yes,
That's right.
We find that out, and they are not
So I
close.
think no, they are not. They might see each other on holidays. Maybe.
No, they do not. They have made a specific point of that.
Oh, they're not even that far. They just don't talk.
They make a
They just
comment
don't
later. Yeah, where it's like, you missed my birthday again, or like, you didn't
Oh
call
yeah,
Mom
they do. Yeah,
again. So like, yeah, it's obvious that they are not.
I'd be
Not
interested to
close.
see Master Roshi's mom, because isn't Master Roshi like? Well, he's obviously super, super, super old. So
He's over 300. They have said that.
so they all so the Invisible Man is defeated, right? Because Yamcha can see him, and so then they head inside, and they're going up this like winding like staircase, and Yamcha ends up going into the arena, and it's like two demon heads on each side, and they have tongues that come out, and those tongues form a bridge, and it's over a pool of, I don't know if they ever tell us exactly what it is, but it's like acid or poison. If you land on it, you will die, basically, is the point. So it's just
if even a drop touches you, you die.
Mm-hmm. So it's just a bridge, basically, over a pool of death. So, I don't know, anybody got anything else to add to that about this episode?
I mean, not really. This wasn't a great one.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering where it's going at this point, you know? I'm like, this is kind of, after getting like a serious arc, I'm almost kind of getting like some whiplash, where I'm like, what is happening in this show now? I don't know about you guys.
I like the tone change, just because it feels a little bit more fleshed out. Like, the world feels more fleshed out. So much of this show is not that serious. And, like, we get parts that are crucial to character development, but I don't think that means it all has to be, like, this life or death stakes serious adventure. And, like, in this case, it is still life or death stakes, but it's just also, like, leaning into a little bit of that silliness that Dragon Ball is kind of more known for. It's just kind of fun. And
well, it's more Goku. It's centered around Goku's silliness and the silly things that I think revolve. I mean, I think that all the silliness, in my opinion, kind of revolves around him.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, we had this like really high stakes arc, and then it like, this one's just like so different. Like, with the nosebleed and the garlic and the standing like across thing. I was just like, was not expecting it to go in that direction.
My theory about this whole arc, in my opinion, is just Toriyama showing how much stronger Goku is than everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you see that because Master Roshi gets brought along, and Master Roshi finally, I mean, we talked about it a little bit in the last episode, how I had this theory that Master Roshi always knew something was going on with Korin's Tower, and that's why he went out to test the Kamehameha. And now we're seeing it firsthand, and we're going to see it firsthand, that like, as everyone else slowly gets beaten, Goku, they're establishing Goku as the one that's always going to be there to take care of things.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that's, like, it's surprising to me that you're not as into this arc, just because, like, if the World Tournament, like, that idea of, like, these characters are fighting, and we're seeing, you know, that kind of action, this gives me similar vibes to that. So
I'm a huge fan of this arc, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dislike it. I just was surprised by how much of a turn it was from the previous one, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was still good, and I like seeing all the characters together, and, you know, I don't mind it being, like, more of a lighthearted adventure. It was just a big shift in tone, which was just surprising to me.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. They definitely jump back and forth a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we went from, like, watching a guy get thrown up in the air and get impaled with his own spear to like fighting like
mummies and vampires,
movie B villains, right? Like, I just wasn't expecting it. That's all.
That's fair.
Most definitely.
Yamcha and the mummy fight. Yamcha refuses to give up, and then Goku fights the mummy.
Yeah, this episode is called Goku's Turn, which I always thought this episode should be called Yamcha's Slow Defeat.
It's called, because Goku like steps in at the very end, right? Like, we don't even actually
doing that though.
We don't even see him fight. Like, it's called Goku's turn, but it's like 21.5 minutes of Yamcha fighting the mummy. Or should I say Yamcha just getting his ass kicked?
And as Yamcha gets his ass kicked in this, Master Roshi goes into this little subplot of how over the years many people have made it past the first two. No one's ever made it past the third. The mummy is very strong. He goes into this whole thing, basically very ominous, which I think is right. I mean, it does take a little bit more of a serious tone in this episode when Yamcha's, really getting his butt kicked and
he is.
almost dies a couple times. Eventually,
and
gets saved by Goku's power pole.
Right. And I don't know. I thought Yamcha was this episode, like, I really felt like he has some growth that he needs to go through because, like, I mean, he's has so much pride that he, like, will not give up, even though it's very obvious that he is not going to win. Puar is, like, yelling for him to give up, and he's, like, jumping in to intervene. Doesn't he, like, Puar turns into a bird and starts pecking his face because Puar just, like, can't stand to see Yamcha getting hurt so badly. Right. He just, like, picks him up, puts him over his shoulders, and just starts to, like, make his feet and his head touch each other. And I was like, whoa, like, he's still not giving up. Like, he would rather die than say he lost, basically.
And I also think that Yamcha needs a little bit more character development. If you look at everyone, Yamcha's probably had, as far as our, like, supporting characters go, he's probably had the least amount of character development. I mean, we've had more character development with Oolong than we have with Yamcha.
It's true. We haven't actually seen that much Yamcha in this show yet.
He's in and out very quickly in the episodes that he's been in.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a real eye opener for, I think, Yamcha too.
Yeah, I mean, and with it being called Goku's turn, I just spent the whole episode waiting for Yamcha to lose, basically, so that Goku would step in, because, I mean, it kind of implies that that's what's going to happen.
I like your note before we head on, is that it's about this fight being pretty selfish. We already covered it. I just liked that note.
Yeah. And I liked how Yamcha uses a wolfing fist on the mummy, and it does nothing. And Krillin's just like, oh my god, the wolfing fist didn't do anything. like we should, like, expect it to do something at this point. I don't know.
Has it ever done anything? He hit Goku once when he was...
Yeah, we've never really seen it actually turn the tide of a battle. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I don't know if we ever do either. But
we got the next episode here. 3,
The
Devil Might. Goku finally takes his turn. He fights and defeats Bandages the Mummy. Goku then goes up against Papa's fourth fighter, Spike the Devil Man.
Mm-hmm.
So we get introduced to Spike the Devil Man and his power, the Devil Might Beam. But before that, the mummy is like, we're told by Master Roshi that this mummy is like never been defeated.
Is immortal.
It's immortal.
Mm-hmm.
It's undead. It's like he's like,
Can't
oh,
be
this
killed.
thing.
Yeah, he was an emperor, right? An old emperor of the world or something.
10,000
And
years ago or something.
Goku, like, gets wrapped up in the mummy's special ply toilet paper.
Yes. It's Keflon toilet paper.
And then, like, there's, like, a beat where he's trapped, and then he breaks free, and then he's like, okay, that was fun. Time to finish this.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wraps it. And I don't even remember how he wins the fight. Does he, like, unravel the mummy or something?
I think he just punches him, like, really hard.
He punches him one time really hard in the stomach, and the dude just crumples.
And then he just picks him up.
Baba,
and he's like,
I think he's defeated, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like wrapped in the toilet paper or the bandages, and he like jumps off the bridge to like unwrap himself. Which is pretty cool.
Goku wins.
Critical thinking, good fighting style, showing that developing.
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of like cheap bullshit the mummy was gonna pull, because there's always something, right? It's just the what's the gum that the dinosaur guy had? It's like this
gum.
the whatever that was called.
Gum.
Yeah, same exact thing. Again, just he's immobilized.
Goku fights, wins, and we see the next two fighters. We've got the Devil Man, who complains about never getting any fan mail because the mummy beats everyone.
Right.
And we also see the masked man who was in Goku's vision at the tower. Pretty interesting. Wonder what that's going to play out.
Yeah. We get the second part of his vision from the future, right? Which is that man with the mask on.
And Roshi makes a comment about how the Devil Man is like, he's always the last one to go. And so Roshi's like, there's something suspicious going on here. This guy's supposed to be the last fighter. I wonder who the last fighter is going to be then. And, you know.
And I thought that was suspicious because, Master Roshi, you just said that no one has ever beaten the mummy. So how do you know that the devil is the last fighter? I don't, you're contradicting yourself.
Yeah. It's a little bit inconsistent.
I mean, who knows what Master Roshi's seen in his 300 years?
That's true.
A lot of time for relationships to mend and break.
And he's pretty old. He could have, some early dementia, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little fuzzy. But I liked the devil, man. I don't know about you guys. I thought he was pretty cool.
It was cool. I mean, it was the short in comparison, but...
Yeah, he's like the Duke mascot. He's like a blue devil. And
Sure.
He's won 2 world tournaments.
Yes, he has. And then we get introduced to his ray beam attack. Which, I mean, honestly, them explaining the Devil Might Beam is about as long as the fight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. They go all into detail about, how it was used against the world's greatest fighter and how he manipulates negative emotions. And we pretty much see as soon as that starts where that's going to go for Goku. Because
right. I was immediately like, so here we go. Yeah. Let me guess, it doesn't work.
Sure.
But it's a cool attack. He can take your anger or your sadness or whatever and just amplify it to the point where it kills you. I thought
my favorite was when he does the Devil Might Beam. It doesn't work on Goku. He goes, "That was neat. Can you do blue next?" And I thought
that was a fun comment.
And I was like,
part of me,
bro.
Part of me wonders if Goku is saying has these little comments as little jabs, or if he's really just that's his personality. I can't really tell sometimes.
I think it's just his personality.
He's got to know that when he says that, it's going to piss the guy off, right? I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't think he does. I don't
think Goku can read social cues.
If we have learned anything from the past 70 episodes, I would think we have learned that.
That's fair enough. And then after it fails, he just does it again. He's like, something went wrong. You gotta reboot. So he tries to turn it off and on again, and it still doesn't work.
System reboot failure.
Needs to do some troubleshooting.
Yeah,
I was
gonna say that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, you get to beat.
Right. It just made me want a spin-off with the Devilman and Monster Carrot.
Who wins?
Because I want them to team up. Because I think if you got 2 guys, one can basically insta-kill you with your negative thoughts, and the other one can turn you into a carrot. I mean, those guys could go a long way together.
I forgot about Monster Carrot.
Well, Monster Carrot's also dead, I think, isn't he? I mean, he's got to be
He got
dead.
shot to the moon.
And then the moon exploded.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's almost certainly dead. But anyway, he'd make a great teammate for Spike the Devilman. So that brings us into episode 74, right? Where, or I guess we just talked about 74, but that ends with Goku fighting the Masked Man, but they want to do it outside. So they leave
Masked Man asks Baba if they can fight outside.
Right. So they leave the Devil's Toilet, as it's called. I don't think we said the name, but it's called the Devil's Toilet, which, nice. So they go outside, and Goku's like, this guy smells good. Says he likes his smell, and Roshi's like, he seems familiar to me. So we know that something's going
suspicious is going on.
And it doesn't take a whole lot of deduction to figure out where it's going, but episode 75 is called The Strong Ones. Goku fights the mysterious man. And at the very end of the episode, we learn that it is, in fact, Grandpa Gohan, who has somehow come back to Earth.
Yeah, he does have a halo around his head. That's very important to know.
And we get yeah, he's got a halo, so he's dead, right? But we got a cool, we got a good fight. I liked it.
So my question is this. I said this earlier, that this is basically just a victory lap for Goku showing how strong he is. How strong is Grandpa Gohan? Because, like, it's a really even fight, and Goku doesn't know who he is, so we know Goku's going all out. And we pretty much established at this point that Goku is probably stronger than Master Roshi. Master Roshi is thoroughly surprised at how strong Goku is.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Yeah.
So did Grandpa surpass Master Roshi too? Like, the Ox King definitely did, and he's just a fat ass who sits on a burning castle.
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. It's a broken rubble.
A pile of rubble.
But I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because he must be, right? He must be stronger, so I'm not sure how he got there. He is definitely stronger than, I think we could say stronger than Master Roshi at that point. If Goku is stronger than Master Roshi, Grandpa Gohan must be at about Goku's level, because it's a pretty fair fight. So, and then we see the masked man use a Kamehameha wave, and then Master Roshi's like, oh shit. He's like, it has to be, he doesn't say it, but he's like, I know who this has to be now.
Yeah, and you know, it was really cool to watch we start off with a regular Kamehameha wave from Grandpa Gohan, which I think took way too long to get off. Everyone had to freak out like it was their first time seeing a Kamehameha wave. But then we get Goku diving down towards the arena using a Kamehameha wave. It's just always fun to see it used outside of the normal, 2-footed stance.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was cool. And then he grabs Goku by his tail. So that's another cue that, like, he knows Goku fairly well. Like, because he knows that it's his weakness, so he uses it. He doesn't, like, figure it out during the fight.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that Goku does not know that it's his grandpa yet. Everyone else has figured it out on the sidelines, but Goku's in the arena, so he's not aware yet.
Yep. So Grandpa Gohan is basically just got him by the tail, and he's just, like, picking him up and swinging him into the ground, like, forwards, backwards, and it's pretty brutal. I was like, damn, dude, you're kind of a bad grandpa. like, it's pretty mean. But that brings us to the end of the episode.
I thought the build up to this episode was a lot of fun. I mean, like, I knew it was coming, and I know, like, it might not feel as thrilling when you know it's coming, but I think for what this show is, they did a really good job building up that suspense to this reveal. And when we finally find out that it's Grandpa Gohan, you're just like, oh my god.
I will say, I think the narrator basically gives it away in the intro to this episode. I was a little irritated by that, but
I don't remember exactly what he says, but
I just watched this episode an hour ago, and it's just the way that the narrator explains it. He's like, he knows the Kamehameha and Master Roshi, and he knows Goku's weakness, and he's known him since he was it's like basically tells you.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's known him since he was a baby, and he's actually Goku's grandpa. Wait,
that's the whole point of him doing the Kamehameha wave. The narrator's just doing the recap.
I know. I just thought it was silly because of the way that
they really
up so much for the narrator just to be like,
they really shove it in your face there, right?
Yeah, still great reveal. I don't know about you two, but I will always have a little tear to my eye.
Yeah, and it's a cool. I mean, it's just a cool concept, right? That he gets to fight his grandpa, and it opens up a lot of things about the world, like the lore of the show.
A lot about
You're like,
universe.
So people die and can come back to life, and there's like something happens in the show when you die. And,
so the place you go to is called Otherworld.
Yeah, we learn that in this next one, right?
And so on top of that, we learn about Otherworld, which is where people go where they die. We learn that Baba is one of the few people who can go in between worlds. We also learn that Grandpa Gohan is a closet perv up there. Him and Master Roshi have a little talk at one point because someone says something about bringing Grandpa Gohan back to life. He's like, I wouldn't leave Otherworld for anything. I have so many friends up there, and most of them are brunettes.
Right.
And then Master Roshi and him confirm that Master Roshi did, in fact, blow up the moon. It is still blown up.
Yeah, he does mention that. Because Gohan's like, is he still turned into that monster? And Roshi's like, since I blew up the moon, it's been fine, or something
Which,
like that.
I mean, keep in mind, we just did like a whole ocean arc. How are the tides normal?
Well, I mean...
Someone's got to do the hard investigating here.
Someone's got some explaining to do. Also, I think it's important to note that Goku's tail comes off during the battle.
Oh,
He
yes.
yanks on it so hard that it comes off. Man, and Goku, it hurts. He's like screaming.
And Gohan's reason behind doing this is because he wanted to show Goku that he does have a weakness no matter how strong he gets, and then now to work on that weakness. His intention was not to pull off Goku's tail.
Right. He did it by mistake.
So, at least. But, regardless.
I'm curious to see if it grows back this time, because I feel like I'm waiting for the moment when it comes off for good, and I feel like this is it.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I don't remember. His tail comes off, and Goku's like ready to fight him again, and Gohan's just like, I give up, you win. So that's the end of the fight, and then he takes off his mask, and Goku like breaks down in tears, and it was a heartwarming moment, I'll say.
Yep. It was cool, the gang acknowledges it, and then we get on to the main reason why we're here. Gohan's job is done. Gohan says bye to Goku, goes back to Otherworld, and then we get the Fortune Grant, which is we get to find out where the 7th Dragon Ball finally is.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to go back to some old friends.
Pilaf gang.
Yep. Those guys.
Y'all aren't excited?
I
actually kind of like Emperor Pilaf as a character. Because he's like just so over the top, but he's obviously not a real threat. He's funny.
I want to say this was kind of forced in there.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it really wasn't. I think it was a nice little wrap up to this saga, in my opinion, just to bring them in.
It was appropriately low stakes for Goku to go fight them.
Exactly.
And as soon as you figure out it's them, you're like, all right, so now we just wait for him to get it. Like,
it felt like Jesse and James Team Rocket vibes. Like,
yes.
You know that they are going to be blasted away before the end of the episode.
You know they're going to lose. Yeah, for sure. And so two things from that. The first one, I don't think we touched on. They do explain Grandpa Gohan is in Otherworld, and then he talks to Baba, and he asks Baba if anyone is going to challenge him that has a tail. And Baba looks into the future and sees that yes, they do, and so he asks to be on her team for that particular fight. So he comes back just to do that, and then he leaves, and that was the whole explanation of how he got there. And then number 2, I was surprised that, they're looking for this Dragon Ball this whole time, and I was surprised that it didn't occur to them that Emperor Pilaf may have it just because he is known to have Dragon Balls, like, in this show. I was kind of surprised that they didn't, check into that.
Emperor Pilaf is not a thought in their mind.
Yeah, I don't think that they were even aware that Emperor Pilaf has the ability to build something that could cloak a Dragon Ball. So
fair.
When they couldn't find the Dragon Ball, the first thought in their mind was, maybe someone cloaked it. The first thought, if you remember correctly, was, maybe something ate it. So they're operating on the assumption that it was going to be inside of an animal or something like that, not something that was man-made, constructed to actually hide it.
So it's sort of like the two guys where the first guy's like, I hate you, I can't stand you, and the second guy's like, I don't think about you at all. It's a bit like, it's kind of like that, like with Goku's relationship to Pilaf.
Exactly.
And I mean, again, this is a pretty quick wrap up. We should touch on the fact that Pilaf finds out about Goku's tail, his weakness, while searching for the other Dragon Balls. Because Pilaf is also obviously searching for them as well, and so he spies on Goku at the right moment and learns about his tail weakness. So they're all preparing to go ambush Goku and grab him by his tail when he shows up on their Mercedes.
Yes, their Mercedes-Benz that they're driving.
Yeah.
But yeah, because Pilaf has a big satellite, and he's tracking Goku, right? So he knows that he's in this tournament and that he has 6 Dragon Balls. And then they keep talking about how they're going to use his weakness against him. But we know that he lost his tail still. We know this whole thing is how it's gonna end, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
he's very excited to exploit the weakness that doesn't exist, basically.
And he has a brand new set of robots ready and waiting.
He does. Which was kind of funny because it reminded me of like Power Rangers because they're all different colors.
And they can all form into one.
Yeah, and then when they all merge into one, I was like, oh yeah, okay, so that's like, at that point I was like, okay, this is like a reference, because the Japanese Power Rangers has been around since like the 70s. Yeah. So it was clearly
I really liked the pinky swear that was in there, too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they make a point to explain what it is and why he's doing it, and
gotta inspire the youth of America with those pinky swears.
Yep. I also thought it was pretty funny that they grabbed Goku and burned his the bottom half of his clothes off. So he like gets out of the grip and he like continues to fight them, but he's just naked from the waist down.
For like,
it's just for the whole fight.
Usually they limit it to like a second or like a couple frames, and you'll see Goku's neck. There's like 5-second clips of Goku running after these people, fighting them with his dick out. And the best part is, his pants aren't even completely gone. Like, he still has the ankles to his pants.
Yeah, he's got his boots on still.
Are gone. So
he's got his shirt, he's got his boots, he just...
Nothing like getting your ass beat by a naked 13-year-old.
Yeah, it's a rough way to go.
I think we found the tagline for the episode.
Yeah, I think we probably did. So, obviously, he wins. He uses a Kamehameha, destroys the Megazord thing that they created, and they try to run away, but he catches them. And he gives him the Dragon Ball, and then he takes Shu's outfit. So he's, like, wearing his, like, purple ninja clothes, and then he leaves.
Silly.
And he heads off. Yeah, I thought it was silly. I had never... They do some interesting things with clothes in this show. Like, at the beginning of the arc, he still has the hole in his chest from where he got shot by the Dodon Ray. Like, they definitely, like, carry outfit things.
Which I think is important to showing that time is still passing by. And then they also make...
Right.
We'll get to it in the next episode, but we get another reference to time. Just lining up timelines, showing that Goku is getting older, showing that Goku's maturing, obviously getting older. But yeah, I think that's about it for this episode.
That's about it for that one. And then we have just one more left.
Yeah, so this is the Eternal Dragon Rises. Yamcha becomes Master Roshi's student. Bora is restored to life by Shenron. Goku sets off on a journey around the world to train himself for the next World Martial Arts Tournament in 3 years' time. We get to see Shenron again, and Bora comes back to life, as we said. Goku and Appa head out from the base, where they are.
From Baba's palace, castle thing.
Goku and Appa head back from Baba's palace to Korin, the land of Korin, not really, kind of Korin Tower area, and Yamcha is begging Roshi, please let me be your student, and Roshi's like, no, we're good. 2 students is too much. And
he's got a lot of exercise tapes to watch.
To convince him, Bulma says, maybe if you train Yamcha, I'll be hanging around more. I've got this new bikini
that I've been wanting to try, and I was like, woof.
Yeah. And Roshi's immediately like, alright, you're
in. You're in. Right,
3 horny bonks for Toriyama.
True. Master Roshi is true to himself.
He's something. That's for sure.
But it is important that he's now one of the turtle people he's working with.
Into another thing, which is Goku paving the way for his friends to go through training. We will see that multiple times throughout Z, throughout GT, I think, even into Super. So Goku is always the one paving the way for this, and we kind of get a little bit of our wish to see, Yamcha kind of get a little bit more character development, get some more, hopefully, maturity.
He needs it, right? Training. He's definitely the weakest, I think. Even though he went after Krillin, I'm pretty sure Krillin could beat him in a fight. But I think it'd be pretty close, but I think Krillin would edge him out. I think Krillin would edge him out, personally.
And then it's also important to know that Goku tries to go back to Master Roshi's house, and Master Roshi tells him no, because he's outgrown Master Roshi's training. So he sends him out into the world to train, and so, but most importantly, Goku is now forbidden from using the flying ninjas.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer to me, but having seen the show, I don't think it distracts too much.
I mean, and it does make sense, right? Like, he's got to work on his cardio. Yeah. He needs some cardio, I think, so he's going to do it on foot.
Yeah, so he's a little bit upset about that, and then he's like, okay, and then just, takes off.
Yep.
And they say they will all reunite at the World Martial Arts Tournament, which used to be every 5 years, but because of the sheer amount of people that have now signed up, they've changed it to every 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Because the last tournament was so exciting that it's garnered interest. I mean, the moon exploded, right? So that's had to be on the news for a while.
Yeah.
People are talking about it. People are interested. Giant Monkey versus Max Power Roshi. I mean, that was awesome. We also get, the cool stuff we get to see Shenron. It's always cool to see him. I enjoy how, the sky gets super dark and there's lightning and just how big he is, right?
He's massive.
Yeah, he's giant.
I feel like they definitely made him bigger in this showing of him than they made him look when he was next to the castle.
Yeah, I thought so too. Because he was rising up and it's the gold and he's just the head is just running up Corn Tower. And so you can see it goes up for presumably miles. And then Goku has it first. He turns down food because Bora comes back to life. He offers Goku a feast and he says, no, I have to go back to see the gang, which I thought was really surprising and uncharacteristic of Goku. But Bora also calls Goku a gift from the stars, which he is. More than you know, Bora. More than you know. But so we get a nice bow around this episode, and we get some cool setup for the next saga, right? So he says we're not gonna see Goku until the tournament. So they're sort of saying some time is gonna pass between these two, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm excited for the next saga.
Yeah, what is the next saga?
Tien.
Ah, yes, this is a fantastic saga.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. And it's long. It's 18 episodes.
Yeah.
We're going to be slowing down a little bit since we're coming up on holidays here, but we'll hope to have it out early January.
Yeah, we will be taking a hiatus for the rest of the year.
We will be, yes, because we have lives and things to do. Unfortunately, we can't just watch Dragon Ball all day.
We will, however, be continuing to watch episodes throughout the holidays, so there won't be once the holiday season is over, we'll be back on. We'll still be on the same track.
Yes, we're shooting for January 8th, somewhere in that ballpark. 8th, 9th. So I'm excited. It's a good setup. We're assuming that some time is going to pass on to the next arc, and we know there's going to be a tournament. So,
and we're skipping some filler in this one, aren't
we? We are, yes. So we just watched episode 78. That's the last episode of the saga. We are going to skip to episode 84 because 79 through 83 are all completely filler. So we will not be watching those. What did you guys think about this? How would you rank this saga? Where would you put it? Is it in your top 3 sagas so far?
I would say.
I think this is maybe my favorite one so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, bold statement.
I think it's
Muscle
just...
Tower.
Somehow it's edged out Muscle Tower. No, it was just there was fights, there was sentimentality, there was character growth and development, and
yeah, I mean, what a treat!
What more can you ask for?
It was a good mix, I think, because it did get serious at the end, right?
Yeah.
So it was light and it was heavy.
I wasn't sure if they were really going to be able to bring back Bora. I thought maybe something could happen that gets in the way of it. I think that tension was well built and the payoff was well earned.
Yeah.
I think the reveal of Grandpa Gohan was a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
I think we all kind of touched on it, but it was such an emotional moment. I didn't realize how invested I was in Goku as a character and how much he missed his grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah,
actually,
they
really
did that well.
Yeah, somebody was cutting onions during that episode. It's oh man, because I lost my grandpa when I was a kid, and I know how that would feel to get a reunion, and yeah, it's pretty touching moment for sure. What were you gonna say, John?
Oh, I was gonna say that we get a sentence from Yamcha that is, I think applies well here. It's easy to forget with how strong Goku is that he's still just a kid. That Yamcha mentions, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely true. I would probably put this one probably third, maybe. I'd probably go World Tournament and then Commander Red just a little bit below it, and then this one just a little bit below that. But they're all like up there. Like I really enjoyed all three. And it is definitely one that I would recommend to someone.
Yeah. Real quick, I forgot to mention it in the intro, but if you want to get in contact with us, we do have a link tree, and that is the Ginyu Farce podcast. And then we also have an Instagram working as well, but that's all on there.
Yeah, so it's linktr.ee/thegfp, and that'll give you all of our stuff, including an email if you want to contact us. We're always looking to chat with people. You know what? There's one thing we forgot to mention about episode 84, and that is when all of the balls go to separate, Goku grabs the 4-star ball. He sees it.
Did.
He
so
grabs
we're
it.
no longer hunting for Dragon Balls.
So he doesn't have to hunt it down anymore. He has it. It's a rock, because it just stays a rock for 1 year, but he has it. So that's pretty smart. He should have maybe grabbed a bigger net. He could have just caught all of them, but, what do you do? So I think that's everything. I'll just shout out some people who have been listening. We're kind of making our way across the country and got some other countries too. Michigan, Colorado, Maryland, Texas, Arkansas, Georgia, Washington. We've got the UK, Israel, India, Romania, Spain, and Germany. So thanks to everybody for listening, and we're excited to continue to grow. Tell your friends about the show that watch Dragon Ball. And we will see you guys in January. Anybody got anything else to add?
Nothing else.
That's it.
All right, cool. Then we'll see you guys soon.
See you later.